Hello, welcome back. My name is Cindy Nierenberg, and I'm on a journey to lose 65 pounds in one calendar year. So this is week 18. How did that happen? Week 18, and I'm down 11.8 pounds. My weight this week really fluctuated because, as you know, last week I was, coming off of the keto diet. So immediately when I started eating more carbohydrates, my body started holding on to more water. And so the scale this week was just all over the place. But it was really good practice for me not to put so much importance on the scale. And at the end of the week, like everything has been, calmed down and evening out as it always does if we don't get overexcited about it. So this week I was thinking just about my history with weight and my struggle. I hate to even use that term. It's a commonly used term, my struggle with weight loss. But in the past, when I was a kid, I grew up and I was always the tallest girl in my class. And that kind of made me feel separate from the other girls in the class. So I'm 5'10" tall, which is tall for a woman, but it's, really, really tall for a kid. And I always remember when we took photos in the class, I was always like, back row center, Cindy's in the back, in the middle. I just went there automatically. But I would figure out like, okay, my body is different from other people's bodies. Not only is it taller, but it was bigger. Like I took up more space than other kids did. It was difficult to like fit into the desks at school. And, I just always felt bigger. I always felt apart. And what I tried to do with my little kid brain was I tried to figure this out. And anytime I have a problem with something, this has been a whole lifetime of me, I go to books. I go to magazines, I go to the library, like anything that I can find that's going to help me out. Well, in the 70s and the 80s, like the only thing that I had access to was like teen magazines and 16 magazine, who had all these really pretty cover models, none of whom look like me, by the way. So I don't know why I thought I might relate to these people, and had no idea that the diet advice in these magazines, was simply put there to sell magazines. It's like clickbait today, right? But I took it all very seriously. And then as I got older, I found out there was a diet section in the bookstore. Oh my gosh, that was like the holy grail for me, right? I now, instead of just a simple magazine article, I could spend hours poring over information about diets and exercise and fashion and what I could look like and what I didn't look like. It was just this whole comparison thing that got set up that was not positive for me. So this is not a woe is me story. It's just kind of what probably a lot of us did when we were kids. Like that was our only recourse, was to look through these fashion magazines and books to the answers. And you know what? I'm still doing it today. And what it dawned on me this week was there's a difference when you're trying to meet a goal. There's a difference between passive action and massive action. So passive action is really tricky. It's keeping your brain busy. It's reading all the diet books. It's looking for every exercise plan that's out there. It's feeling that somebody else has the answer that you don't. And you can spend a lot of time in passive action. But here's the thing, passive action, like it thinks it's necessary. Like it keeps your brain so busy. You're like, oh, I'm working really hard. When you're not, you're actually just reading a bunch of extra stuff. You're just taking in and consuming a lot of information, but you're not doing anything with it. So listen, you can read all the diet books that are out there and you still will not be losing weight. you can watch every video on the perfect form for lifting weights to keep your back flat and lift those weights. You're still not going to develop great muscles by reading about it or watching a documentary or listening to somebody else's story about their weight loss. Massive action, on the other hand, massive action is simply a commitment to doing action until you get the results that you want. So my massive action is I will continue to post videos every Monday about my weight loss journey, right? I'm not giving up until I get to my goal weight of 165 pounds, right? It's every day, even if I'm failing forward. That is massive action. I've made a commitment and I keep moving. I keep trying new things. But can you see the difference between doing things from a passive standpoint where you really think you're busy and you really think you're working hard to doing an active process like going for a walk, getting some exercise, drinking some water, getting enough sleep, right? Managing what you're eating during the day. Those are all massive actions that are going to get me to the weight loss. So those are the kinds of things that I've been thinking about this week. If that's my tip for you, take a look at the areas in your life that you've been struggling in. You're having some frustration or some difficulty, and really ask yourself, am I working passively in this area? Or am I doing massive action to move this forward? It could be your personal finances. It could be a relationship. It could be your diet. Any of those things, if you really want to move forward, you've got to put the massive action in. So I am committed to figuring this out for me, a 58-year-old menopausal woman who has had a long history of ups and downs regarding my weight. So as I lose weight this time, right, I am committed to making it happen in my time and in my way. And I use my massive action to get me to the results that I want to get to. Because I was thinking the other day, so often we see these before and after shots of people who've lost weight, right? And we think, well, that's great. Like those results are pretty impressive. And in my brain, when I look at those photos, I think, well, that happened really quickly for them. But my weight loss has not happened quickly. And I'll tell you, that is why I'm loving having this body of work that I'm doing every week, so that people can see the fits and starts of weight loss, the times that I've gone backwards, the times that I've moved forward. This is life, right? Like this is the real deal. This is not abracadabra, all of a sudden she's thin. This is like what I'm dealing with on a daily basis. And this idea of passive and massive action is just really appealing to me. Am I spinning my wheels, acting passively, or am I really moving forward with massive action? So I hope that makes sense to you. I hope you enjoyed that and it gave you a little bit of something to think about. Thank you for following along. As usual, all of my contact information is in the box below. I'm having so much fun. And yeah, some of you asked, did I get my 2 Pick Me people? I did. So we are working together now. It's so exciting to work with people to get them to understand that the process of weight loss is very individual and that they need to come up with their own goals and then work on the chatter that's going on in your head. So I'm looking forward to more of that. So thank you. It's been a great week. I look forward to seeing you next week with good news.